Guzman led the Sinaloa cartel, which is now believed the trial for the Mexican drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is underway in federal court in New York City under heavy security and with fiery opening statements. The prosecution must prove Guzman led the Sinaloa cartel, which is now believed is how people believe he built his $14 billion empire.
Guzman pleaded not guilty to 17 charges. He allegedly oversaw hundreds of crimes, including kidnapping, torture, and murder. So joining us now is CBS News legal analyst Ricky Kleeman to talk about this. So we've had some pretty intense opening statements, right? Everything's intense about this. I mean, the level of security, just getting him back and forth. But the opening statements, the judge was not happy with at least one thing that was said.
Well, the judge wasn't happy and the prosecution was livid at the defense. What happened in the defense opening statement was the defense gave their theory of the case. Whether or not they can prove their theory of the case during cross-examination, assuming the defense is not calling witnesses of its own, it remains to be seen. But why the judge got so angry, and I think put the prosecution over the moon, to file a motion to strike the opening statement of the defense attorney, something that, frankly, I have never seen before, and to tell the jury to completely disregard it, was that the defense, through a, by the way, superb trial attorney, Jeffrey Lichtman, he is really one of the best. Jeffrey Lichtman argued that bribes went through to keep the cartel going very profitably for someone else, not for El Chapo, but that the bribes went all the way up to the present and past Mexican president. So the question becomes, how can the defense prove this? Well, the defense has the ability to cross-examine cooperating witnesses, a lot of them, who were high up in the cartel. And if they know that such bribes were paid, well, then he gets it into evidence. But if they don't, then he's bluffing.
So
that's a bombshell.
Yeah, as we know, watching trials of mafia bosses in this city and in other trials across the country, it's really, really hard to prove that someone is the head of this big international crime empire unless you've got a witness, like a Samuel Gravano. Do they have that? How difficult will it be for them to make this case?
Well, it's always challenging because these witnesses are very unsavory characters, but they have many of them.
They have many Sammy the Bulls, you're saying?
They have many, and one of them started yesterday. So yesterday we had Jesus Zambada Garcia, and he's really known as one of the Zambada family. Now, he was the accountant for the cartel. He was with the cartel for well over a decade. You go from, I think, in the late 90s till 2008 when he was arrested. So he laid out a primer, a look through, a complete tutorial on how the Sinaloa drug cartel worked. And he puts El Chapo at the top. And one of the things that happened was this staggering piece of testimony, at least to me, when you understand the numbers. He talked about, and he knows the numbers since he was the accountant, he talked about what kind of money came into this cartel, minus expenses. Of course, it's a business, you have expenses. But I love this, a 15-ton shipment that someone or some group of people pay $9 million to get into the U.S., this is what the figures were. If you sell it in LA, $39 million. If you sell it in Chicago, $48 million. And of course, guess where we live, where everything's expensive? If you sell it in New York, it goes up to $78 million for one 15-ton shipment.
Wow.
So it was very intriguing to hear. You know what it sounds like when you have a witness like this? If you've never read the book Cartel, go ahead and read it. You are in the Sinaloa cartel, even though it's fiction, but it's based on fact, and it's based on El Chapo's enterprise.
Writing it down, Ricky.
Oh, it's unputdownable.
And it's only just begun.
It is.
We will be talking to you more.